Mike, check. Justin Hunt. It's all happening. Thank you to everybody rocking with the channel. Thank you to everybody subscribe through the channel. Share the video, share the link. It's priceless. Big thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to donate, you hit the Cash App right up there, or you hit the link in the description and become a member. That is the best way to support this channel. You get access to videos early. And truthfully, if you're really down with the mission and everyone who is a member of this channel, I'm so thankful for each one of you. I appreciate you. 9-second applause to everyone. Big news. Now, Kanye West is one of the greatest artists of all time in multiple mediums. I think that's fair to say. One of the most influential artists in my life. One of my favorite artists on the rap side and the producer side. Even on the design side, on the interview side, and most of the time on the antic side. You know, I don't think there's been a more consequential artist this century than Kanye West, or the artist formerly known as Kanye West, who now goes by Ye. Now, the past few years, Ye has been antagonizing the Jewish community, something serious. And it started, I believe it was 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and it carried on into this year. And so we saw Kanye do an interview with academics where he was wearing a Ku Klux Klan outfit. We've seen all kinds of crazy tweets. We've seen him make a song called Heil Hitler, you know, and so Ye has been in this zone for half this decade. I think that's fair to say. Well, today, courtesy of DJ Academics, he released a video of Ye apologizing to a Jewish rabbi. So let's take a look.
I feel really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability. I was dealing with some various issues, dealing with bipolar also. So it would take the ideas I had and have me take them to an extreme where I would forget about the protection of the people around me and myself. So I wanted to come and take accountability. Sometimes people aren't that knowledgeable about the bipolar and the cause or what causes it and the way you act when you have this disease. So it's like if you left the house and you left your kid at the house and your kid went and messed up the kitchen and messed up the garage and messed up the living room. Now when you get back, it's your responsibility because that's your child.
I mean, you know, first reactions to this, there's still about a minute and a half to go. We're going to watch this whole thing here. His voice sounds different. You know, it's much lower than I think we're probably most used to. It also sounds a little slurred to me. I'm not sure if that's just the audio or what that is. He is taking accountability here. He is talking about his challenges with bipolar, which is something that he has been vocal about, at least since the Ye album. And so, but this little break right here, this little joke is such a Ye joke. This little metaphor he drops here. And so, you know, that's what stood out to me so far. Listen to that little joke again, because this is how Ye talks.
Garage, mess up the living room. Now when you get back, it's your responsibility because that's your child. And that's the way I look at it. It's like I gotta go clean up the kitchen, I gotta clean up the living room, I gotta clean up the garage. Yeah, and it's a big deal for me as a man to come and take accountability for all the things that I've said. And I really just appreciate you embracing me with open arms and allowing me to make amends. And this is the beginning and the first steps and the first brick by brick to build back the strong walls.
Say in Yandut, the rabbi said the Judaism, the Judaism brought to the world a way for someone when he regret about something that he has done wrong. And the Jews live on this way of if someone did something wrong, you can regret and fix it. And the rabbi is hugging you and hugging everybody.
בעזרת השם,
And God willing,
אבא יהיה
and from now on,
דברים חזקים וטובים,
strong things and good things,
ורק טוב.
and only good.
הוא בן אדם טוב.
You are a very good man.
Amen. That's a blessing, man. Yeah, we're good.
So there it is. 1 second applause for Ye taking accountability. Now, you know, at least 10 years, maybe 9 years, about 9 years now. We've watched Ye pretty much ever since he put the red hat on. You could probably say inklings of it if you go back to Yeezus when he was selling Confederate flags. But when he put the red hat on and he came out talking about slavery was a choice, taking shots at the black community in which he's from, obviously, but it's probably the community that's supported him the longest at that point in time. He pissed a lot of people off, and he also went on an apology tour for that too. You know, I have a video on this channel. I can't remember what the name of this video was, but it was Eminem and Kanye West, and it was looking at Ye traveling to different media outlets. He goes to WGCI in Chicago, and he sits down, and the host of the show he's on let him know how hurt the community was when they heard him say slavery was a choice, and all the things he said on TMZ, and all the things he was just saying at that point in time. And Ye broke down in tears and apologized. And so then in 2022, you know, we see him pop up with the White Lives Matter shirt. Okay, I think part of this is some of the challenges that does come with bipolar disease, that comes with different types of mental illnesses and mental challenges. I'm going to hold my reservations. I'm going to hold my full thoughts until I see what's actually happening here. But Ye is not afraid to apologize. He's not afraid to take accountability. And he's done that multiple times in his career with multiple things. You know, one of the things that was a big touch point in the 2000s was when he took the microphone from Taylor Swift at the MTV VMAs. And after that, he did an interview where he talked about how that was the first time in his life people had called him racist. They thought that was a racist moment where he took the microphone from Taylor Swift at the VMAs to compliment Beyonce. And it's an interesting statement from him at that point in time because Kanye West, the social firebrand, we shall say, I think probably made his arrival when he was on the telethon during Hurricane Katrina and said George Bush didn't care about black people. Okay, so he apologized for both of those. I don't think he apologized for the first one, but I think he did apologize for Taylor Swift. If I'm not, maybe I'm looking at that wrong, because he then came back again and he said he made Taylor famous. Okay, so I think we've seen the ebbs and flows of Ye when he gets into certain situations like this, and then at some point turns around and makes amends or takes accountability. We shall see if this time is different. But this stood out to me today too for a number of reasons, and we'll get to it at the end. But particularly because this has been such a big storyline. What happened to Kanye West? Well, here he is now taking accountability. Let's take a look at some of the reactions that's going around. This one here is from Rachel. She says, "This is true humility and repentance, and this is the strongest Kanye has ever been. He hurt them publicly and is apologizing publicly. Pride was absent. There is hope for people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes. May it be well with Kanye. God bless him and his family." That's nice. 1 second applause. This one's from Ball Don't Lie. It says, "Ye tired of being blackballed? He bent the knee." He bent the knee. And I think there's going to be a lot of people with comments about this. Now, one thing I find particularly interesting about this Ye versus the Jewish community saga that's been rocking for a long time now is that Ye was always pretty particular in separating himself from anything that was happening with Israel. And so majority of his comments around his frustrations with the Jewish community comes from what he sees and how he has described the influence the community has when it comes to Hollywood and banking and in fashion and the industries that he's been trying to make his way in. He wasn't necessarily political about this in that way. He wasn't necessarily saying, you know what, Israel is part of what Ye's raging against. He was on a different battle than that. But the parallels I see, at least the timing of all of this, with this Ye versus the Jewish community saga, I guess, again, is that this also, majority of it anyway, also coincides with the genocide in Palestine. And so he has always been pretty particular about separating those two things, largely speaking. But this comment right here, I think you're going to see a lot of that, because I think at this point, there's a lot of people who are very upset, frustrated at the United States when it comes to the relationship between Israel and the United States of America. And so I imagine there's going to be more of these that come along as this story continues to travel. Here's his next one. Larry Legend, from Yadolf to Yehaim. I think that's how you say Yehaim. 1 second applause. I thought that was funny. This one is from the African Playman. It says, this hitter is trolling so hard right now, laughing. Right. And I think, look, again, like I've talked about, we've seen Ye take accountability and apologize for a number of things over the course of his career. And so we've also seen Ye apologize and come back and do the same thing again. Maybe perhaps that's a part of being bipolar. But I'm not upset I'm not surprised, and I can't be mad at people who are incredulous about what this means and what this means for the future more than anything else. 1 second applause. Luigi, this one's from Luigi. It says, I have a request. Tell Kanye I want him to apologize to Kim, to her mom and his children, and that he wants to become a better role model to his family. We will all support him through his issues, bipolar and any other kind. Who are you, Luigi? I'm sorry. I have a request. Tell Kanye that I want him to do these things too. Perhaps Luigi's a fanager, but Luigi is pointing out that along with Ye going hard at the Jewish community, he also went hard at Kim Kardashian and his mother-in-law and a number of people that were just around the family as well. And he's talked quite a bit about feeling as though people were trying to drug him. His paranoia was going crazy. He was all in the nitrous oxide and just saying wild stuff. And there's a lot of stuff he was saying about his family too that gained a lot of steam over the past year. But here goes Luigi making a request.
Tomato.
I see where you're coming from, Luigi, but
Tomato.
We don't know you. All right. Next one from Daniel Delacour. The New York mayor race let people like Ye know the direction that this nation is headed, and now they gotta adjust. Red pill days are gone. Now, we've covered some stories around the red pill culture, the manosphere, and how a lot of those people have been shifting a little bit as they've seen the actions of this administration. A number of people, whether that is Joe Rogan, whether that is Theo Vaughn, a lot of these guys, Aiden Ross, who were pivotal in washing off Trump's reputation and selling him to young men, are realizing that nobody likes it. The majority of Americans are not happy with people being abducted. The majority of Americans are not happy with not having access to SNAP benefits. Majority of Americans aren't happy with the fact that their Medicaid is cut. Majority of Americans aren't happy with the loss of the Department of Education. A lot of Americans aren't happy with a lot of things that are going on. A lot of things that are going on. And people have been looking at Mayor Mamdani. I got it. Trying not to get my Cuomo in there. Listen to Cuomo during his campaign cycle say his name wrong all the time. Got me saying his name wrong all the time. But Mamdani winning the New York mayor, of early 30s, Muslim democratic socialist. And it looks like one, it's a big win for the progressive left more than anything else. And two, it still speaks to some of the similarities between Trumpism and the democratic socialist platform. And they're both aimed at working people. And so now that we've had at least almost a year, coming up on a year of the Trump administration, and we've now have a huge, all the evidence in the world of people not rocking with what this administration is doing. a lot of people are looking at the fact that New York City elected an early 30s Muslim a Muslim Indian from Uganda who's a democratic socialist to be the mayor of the central of global capitalism as an inflection point. And so perhaps that is where Daniel's comment is coming from, calling it red pill days are done. Yesterday when Mamdani won, they said, woke is back. So we shall see. But this is part of the reaction we're getting to Ye here. 1 second applause. Now, here's another one I thought was pretty interesting. This one's from Yasser Ali. He's a big commentator. I believe he's a journalist, if I'm not mistaken, but he's definitely a big commentator online. And Yasser says, I find the video of Kanye West with Rabbi Pinto to be totally unremarkable. If someone wants to change, particularly someone who has played a significant role in the explosion of Jew hatred globally, it takes years to prove it. That is my personal decision, just to be clear. Obviously, this is a matter ultimately for the Jewish community. I do not believe Kanye has changed. He's deeply unwell. As someone who is immersed in neo-Nazi propaganda for hours every day, I cannot begin to explain to those who aren't how often Kanye and his music are laced through their narratives. Candace Owens would not be infamous at the level she is today were it not for Kanye West. And let's not forget about Kanye and his relationship with Nick Fuentes. I can go on. And that's true. And we've covered that here on this channel in a video. I think it's called White Lives Matter, where I talk about Kanye and Candace Owens. This is from about 2 years ago. Check it out if you missed it. So he's been yoking with them, of course, but then Nick Fuentes was also someone that he was spending a lot of time with. He actually went to Mar-a-Lago with Nick Fuentes and had lunch with Trump. I'm not sure if that's the first time Nick Fuentes met Donald Trump, but given all the things that are happening today with Nick Fuentes and the Goipers being anointed as the center of the Republican Party, at least young Republicans, and all the people from MAGA who do not like self-avowed neo-Nazi, I think it's fair. I think he calls himself a neo-Nazi, but he's definitely very upfront about his overt racism and his white supremacy position. I don't know if people like someone being that loud representing MAGA, at a time when they were the blue team swept every major election that took place this past election day. But Yasser is making a great point. And, again, even Ye with the Heil Hitler song. I like Vultures 1 quite a bit. And there is a lot of shots, taken that is at the Jewish community as well on Vultures 1. In a way, Ye wrecked Western civilization, went at everybody possible except for the LGBTQ community. And when his back was against the wall, he went east. He went and built relationships with MBS, I think he's the king of the Saudi royal family, head of the Saudi royal family. He's been in China and he's in Korea and Japan for the better part of the past year and change. And so now he's back here in New York and he's apologizing. And Yasser is, he's a bit tepid on it. And I don't necessarily disagree with that because most of you who saw my piece on Tyler the Creator a couple of weeks ago, looking at Tyler the Creator and D'Angelo, where I said that, I feel like anti-blackness should be expensive. People want to accept or forgive or look past some things that Tyler the Creator has said in the past, playing into similar bases. I mean, Tyler was selling Sambo shirts and he was celebrating making a room full of white people say the N-word. These are things that actually did play a part in what has transpired over the past year when it comes to online discourse, when it comes to this idea of freedom of speech at all costs, even when it comes to the dehumanization of your neighbor. Hey, if people don't want to look past that, I'm not mad at them. And so Yasser seems to be taking a very similar position when it comes to Ye. He's saying, look, it's cool that you apologize and all, but we're going to have to see how this plays out in the long run. And I think given Ye's history of apologizing and sort of taking it back, I don't even know if taking it back's the right word, apologizing and then doing it again and apologizing again, who knows where this is going to go. But shout out to Yasser Ali. 1 second applause. Now, this one is interesting. Let's learn about the rabbi a little bit. This is from Gabucci. Says, Kanye West went to see Kabbalist Rabbi Pinto, same rabbi LeBron and Curry went to see before the NBA Finals. So here's a picture of LeBron James with the same rabbi. And then here's the two of them again down here. Yeah, same picture. Down here at a wedding, I believe they saw each other. Right. So here's some additional information on that I thought was interesting. It says LeBron James and Rabbi Pinto. James has been linked to Rabbi Yeshayahu Yosef Pinto, reportedly seeking spiritual guidance and donating to his organization, Shuva Israel. These interactions have been reported in the context of both of their professional and personal lives, not specifically tied to the NBA Finals. Pinto's public profile. Pinto has a large international following and has been involved in various businesses, receiving spiritual and career advice from him. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what their relationship is like here. And there's another post that came up around the rabbi himself. So it says, Kanye West has apologized to Rabbi Pinto in New York for his past comments. The footage was shared on Rabbi Pinto's Instagram account. Rabbi Pinto is an Israeli-Moroccan Orthodox rabbi who is based in Ashad in New York City, and he's a Kabbalist. Rabbi Pinto was sentenced on May 12, 2015 to 1 year in prison and to pay a fine of 1 million shekels. Guess what he did? Rabbi Pinto was busted for money laundering and then caught trying to bribe a cop after he got caught in Israel. This genius Pinto got caught trying to bribe National Fraud Squad head Department Chief Ibrahim Brasha with $200,000 to get information from him about criminal investigation into the Hazan Yeshaya Foundation Pinto was running. He is one of the wealthiest rabbis in Israel with a fortune of 75 million shekels, I believe that is. Many rabbis actively participate in the business world as partners or owners of companies. Leading rabbis also invest in capital markets and in real estate in Israel and other countries. Here's a headline from the Jerusalem Post. It says, court sentences Rabbi Pinto to 1 year in jail on bribery conviction. The decision, which also carried a 1 million shekel fine, was a major blow to Pinto, who had fought all out for community service and no jail time. It continues here. It says, look who Rabbi Pinto stole from. Through Pinto's charity, Hazan Yeshia, he and his people were claiming to run many soup kitchens and other services for the poor, especially for elderly Holocaust survivors. But they stole millions of dollars of donations, including large donations from the Conference of Material Claims Against Germany for Holocaust survivors. So Pinto stole German reparation money to become a multimillionaire and got caught bribing the cop investing his charity scam. Okay, and here's a headline here. It says, Jewish zealots busted for Holocaust fraud. So this is a little bit of his background that is here too, if you guys were curious about who the rabbi is. And again, this happened today, right? Academic shared this video today. It looks like Rabbi shared it on his Instagram account today as well. And I find this really interesting, the timing again, because yesterday, an interview with Young Lean on the New York Times podcast went viral. And so Young Lean had spent time with Ye and he's been working with Ye, and then recently announced that he had to stop working with him and explain why. And so here is a clip of the conversation where Young Lean explains why he stopped working with Ye.
Kanye is mentally ill.
Yeah.
You've
been there. I'm sure you have some empathy.
I've been there,
for
and
that.
I feel for him. And I think like all this stuff that he says about Jewish people. My grandfather was Jewish. I can't defend him, but it's like it's a mentally ill person who still did flashing lights.
He still did great things.
Yeah, he did flashing, and I haven't seen him for a long time now because it's too much. I can't really be around it. When I was alone with him like 3 years ago, and we just had dinner, it was lovely. It was fun. It was like two kids sharing ideas, and he has a big heart. But then the next time I saw him, I could feel that the vibe had gone darker, and then the tweets started coming, and it was too much. But I just felt like, I'm being dragged into something that I've been dragged into myself, and the best thing I could do is not, make a song with this man. It's more to be like, I've been manic too, I've been psychotic, and like lithium works, like this works, but he's not going to listen to anyone, and that's his thing.
It's a thing we hear very often.
Yeah.
I can't be on meds because then I'm not creative.
And that's not true. There are certain types of like bipolar antipsychotics that don't numb you down or dumb you down or take away their creativity. When I was really manic and psychotic, I wasn't more creative. I was just more sloppy. I would do like, let's start one song here. Let's book a flight to India here. Let's start a painting here. And I guess like the 16-year-old Lean would find it so lame that I'm sitting here and saying it, but it's the truth. You don't have to glamorize drugs. You don't have to glamorize mental illness, when you can really be bipolar on medication and still be super creative. You can be swaggy without being drunk all the time, or doing pills.
You don't have to glamorize drugs. You don't have to glamorize mental illness to still be creative. That stood out to me there. 1 second applause. And this happened yesterday, and so perhaps we are now done with the Nazi Ye era, the Heil Hitler Nazi Ye era. I hope we're done with that. Please can we be done with this era. And regardless of where this goes in the future, I do think that Ye taking accountability publicly means something. What that means, I think, remains to be seen. But please, can we be done with the Heil Hitler era of Ye? Let me know what you guys think about all of this. What stands out to you? What coverage have you seen that around this that maybe I didn't talk about? Bring that up in the comment section. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow at The Company Man on everything, including the Company Man podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom dapping. Systematical culture views, it's radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.